two small crabs at the base of an anemone. Are these friends? Are they holding hands? I don't think so. They're fighting over who owns this anemone. And it's quite a fight. The crab on the right throws its opponent into the water and wrestles it back into the sand, where it ends up half buried. This is such a spectacular piece of combat that we should look at it again in slow motion. In judo, they would call this an ippon. Every habitat in nature, might it be tiny, might it be really unusual and exotic, like this anemone, is being fought over. There's only space for one crab. What a pretty anemone this is. I found this underwater on Negros Island in the Philippines, in a so-called muck diving site. There's sand, there's seemingly nothing, and all of a sudden there's a stunning beauty like this anemone. There's also a shrimp living on it, on the stem of the anemone, just a few centimeters above the winning crab. And here's the winner again, proud to now own this cnidarium. This is muck diving. You have to swim slow and look for things like this fantastic animal here. Follow me onto more muck dives. It's always a great pleasure to encounter cephalopods. These are mollusks, of course, that have been called honorary vertebrates because of their large brains and complex behaviors. This bobtail squid decided to hide from me and from my strong video light. It's adding some extra sand on top of its body with its arm. This individual did the same thing. It's inevitable to somewhat disturb these animals which come out at night when you come with a bright video light. This is slow motion footage of the same escape reflex. Cephalopods are very visual animals. Here we have a clam, but it's not an empty clam shell. There's an occupant. An octopus, a very soft-bodied, vulnerable animal, decided to use this clam as a house, as a armor, as a protective shell against any would-be predators, like nocturnal fishes. Now, octopi are really special, whereas I always have the impression that I'm the one observing the animals, the critters, doing these night dives. In the case of the octopus, it's clearly mutual. Octopus is looking at me as much as I'm looking at him. Now here, the octopus decided to rearrange its position in that protective armor a little bit. It was moving it around quite a bit. They are not only disturbed by the video lights, in some cases they probably think of them as an aid. I've seen octopi hunt with the help of dive lights. This one, I'm not sure what the net effect of my presence on its well-being is. It clearly seemed that it thought that it had to rearrange its armament. And of course it did not know that I'm just here to film. It had to make the assumption that I'm a large dangerous predator. It's really a sign of intelligence to use tools such as a dead clamshell, which in this case is a defensive tool, like a medieval knight's armor, just maybe not quite as fit, not quite as tailor-made for that octopus, but nevertheless probably of high protective value. Encounters like this are truly alien encounters. To me, that was an interspecies communication, interaction event with somebody else, with a large brain, probably with a sense of self, and with a very good grasp of his environment. Look at these eyes. These are not empty eyes. I divide humanity into people who have seen a living octopus and into those who have those. Now let's take a step back. Let's look at the ocean where I film most of this footage during the day. It's off the coast of a tropical paradise island, sun-drenched, filled with photons to the brink. Things look very different when we night dive. This is what you see during these night dives. There's no source of light other than the dive lights of myself and of my body. The only thing we see is in the cone of these lights which we shine at the critters around us. And they are monsters here. They might be tiny, but they're so different from us. Let's look at more of them. Another great natural history encounter you will have during muck dives at night is to run into these echinoderms. Echinoderm, in German Stachelhäuter, animals with spines on their skins, like this large fire sea urchin. These echinoderms are often little reefs, in this case a moving reef. And there is a juvenile emperor snapper hiding on that fire urchin. What is it doing there? Well, these spines are not just sharp, they're also venomous. Any would-be predator trying to snatch up that juvenile fish would get seriously hurt. This is a strategy which has convergently evolved multiple times. The snapper here seems very happy, and it really seems to enjoy its urchin home. In the center of the urchin, of course, the anus of the animal. What a pretty butt. Now, here we have a zebra crab, which is doing the same thing. It's right on the top of another fire urchin, and this crab is also quite safe. This is a minute animal, probably only 1.5 centimeters from front to back, and it wouldn't really stand a chance against any predator if alone in the sand. But here, in between the spines of these fire urchins, which it has really learned in evolution quite well to navigate and to avoid being impaled itself, it's safe. And there is one more. There is a very tiny, probably no more than 1 centimeter, cryptic shrimp, very well camouflaged, the same color as the spines of the fire urchin. And this one lives on another location of that urchin, so further at the base. And again, this shrimp is safe from any hungry fish. Fire urchins, venomous, moving, muck diving reefs. Let's look a little bit more at the body surface of these fire urchins. So all these spines are not passive at all, they're moving around in a very goal-directed manner. And in between these spines you can see these little claspers, they're called pedicellaria, and they are what are essentially hydraulic tube feet. Now, this is, believe it or not, this is a sea urchin, and it is not covered with algae by accident, but it has moved all the seaweed on its top with the use of its tube feet and its spines. So this is called a decorator urchin. This is a camouflage type behavior. This is really quite intelligent, and really by any definition of tool use, you would be able to call this tool use. I wrote a scientific paper a few years ago arguing this. I thought it would cause some outrage. I guess I'm not famous enough for the outrage to be caused. But sea urchins are tool users by covering themselves in algae. Fascinating stuff. Now, there is more. When you muck dive at night, very often you will come across these circular vertical holes in the ground. These are not small holes, they're probably 10 centimeters in diameter. These holes are inhabited. These are burrows of Mantis shrimp. Now, mantis shrimp in conventional English are called shrimp, but they actually split quite a long time ago from what you would normally call a shrimp, what you might eat in a seafood restaurant. Now, these are very bright and very visually skilled animals. You can see their eyes, these pseudopupillae, these black spots moving around on these compound eyes, and they're scanning their environments. They are looking around. Yet again, this is an animal which you will sometimes see during the day, but much more frequently at night. And it's probably somewhat confused again by my video lights, which again, unfortunately, is something that's very hard or actually impossible to avoid. Now, this shrimp is a predator. It's a lie-in-wait predator. It would hang out in this burrow, and then it would wait for small fish to come by and grab them. These are big animals. They probably grow to lengths of more than 20 centimeters, and so they have a big appetite for fish. Now, if you have enjoyed the video so far, please support the channel. There are a couple of books I wrote, which you will probably also enjoy. The Life of Gobies, the link is in the description, and 25 future dives with James Reimer, which is about environmental problems in the ocean. Don't be shy, send me super likes, subscribe to the channel, and check back in the coming weeks. There will be more muck diving.